Hello. Dear brilliant, exhausted Hunter class of 2023. Congratulations and thank you for being here. I want to give a special thanks and congratulations to President Jennifer Rabb on her extraordinary tenure and legacy here at Hunter. Like me, President Rabb grew up in Washington Heights, and like me, President Rabb went to Hunter High School, so we know the exquisite pain of the crosstown bus schedule. The A to the C to the M90-something that never arrives. Okay, I guess we're running through Central Park. Thank you for your continued devotion to our school through your service. Graduates, take a look around you at the people who helped you get to this day. Friends, families, teachers, abuelas, abuelos, titis. Take a moment to let them know what you've always known. You don't need the flash on your phone right now. Oh my God, Mom, it doesn't reach the stage. Don't drain your battery unnecessarily. There is plenty of light up here. Graduates, if you feel like I did on my graduation day, first of all, your head must be pounding. Drink plenty of fluids today. Second of all, if you're like me, you dreamed very specifically about this day for many years, but what happens tomorrow is a little hazier. And the week after that. And the rest of your life after that. What do you do now? It's this simple, and it's this complicated. You do what you have to do that allows for the most space for what you want to do. What you have to do. Find a place to live where you can afford to keep the lights on. Eat food. Maybe not all the streaming services, but the two you feel you need the most. Barry in Succession just ended. Bran is on the Iron Throne. I just saved you HBO Max. Ya no lo necesita. I cannot help you with your parents' or your ex's Netflix password, but I have faith you can figure it out. What I did after graduation: moved to New York City with two of my college roommates in a rented U-Haul to share an apartment at the top of Manhattan, so far north our building number had 4 digits, 5,000 Broadway. The roof leaked every third time it rained. The elevated 1 train screeched up the block every time it went by, but the rent was affordable among the 3 of us. Food, I got very good at baked beans and pizza bagels. Streaming services did not exist yet, and we couldn't afford cable, so every Sunday night my roommates and I went to my folks' place for a homemade meal and The Sopranos and Sex and the City, which we could not pause or rewind if we missed something. TiVo and DVR wasn't really a thing yet. I don't even know if TiVo is a thing anymore. Do what you have to do that allows the most space for what you want to do. What do you want to do? What I wanted to do. On my 17th birthday, I sat in the last row of the rear mezzanine of the Nederlander Theater on Broadway and saw a new musical called Rent. The whole thing was written, book music and lyrics, by a talented young composer named Jonathan Larson. The experience was the most alive I have ever felt in a theater, a truly contemporary score sung by young characters struggling to live and make art in 1990s New York City. Amidst the unrelenting and unprecedented HIV/AIDS crisis, claiming friends and lovers, these characters continue to find ways to choose love, to choose connection in an age of alienation, and sing and live the words, "No day but today," even as time and illness chase them down. That night I went from being a theater kid who loved musicals to a theater kid who needed to write musicals. Because Larson put his heart and his fears and his community stories on that stage, and for the first time I understood viscerally that theater could be a vessel for my heart and my fears and my community's stories. It's a 2-year distance and a very direct line between seeing Jonathan Larson's musical portrait of a tight-knit but rapidly gentrifying East Village and writing my first draft of In the Heights, my portrait of a tight-knit but rapidly gentrifying Washington Heights. Back to what you have to do. Get a job. Hopefully you can find a job somewhere in the vicinity of your passion that has something to do with what you've spent the last few years studying. If college is good for anything, It's finding community with other people who share your interests and passions, so you don't have to go through it alone. The legendary composer Stephen Sondheim wrote what he considered to be his only autobiographical song about this time of life, the time you're in right now. And he called it Opening Doors. The chorus goes, "We're opening doors, shouting, here we are. We're filling up days on a dime. That faraway shores, looking not too far. We're following every star. We haven't got time." Look around at your fellow graduates. Who is your ride or die as you burst into the world opening doors? Did you meet them here at Hunter? Or are they sitting behind you or around you, loving you enough to brave the MTA in Brooklyn rush hour on a Tuesday afternoon? Name them, treasure them, hold on to them, because when you're chasing what you love, there is never enough time. What I did for a job. I graduated from Wesleyan University in Connecticut in May 2002 with a degree in theater, which in New York's job market is like showing up to a gunfight with a degree in theater. But just before I graduate, I call the person most responsible for my trajectory into writing, my favorite Hunter High School English teacher, Dr. Rembert Herbert. Back in 8th grade, Dr. Herbert noticed that I was writing song lyrics about unrequited crushes in the back of his class instead of taking notes. That I would occasionally write an amazing essay if the topic interested me and do the bare minimum if I didn't. I believe it was a personal literary essay on Stephen King's It that prompted this note from him. "Lin-Manuel, this is an intelligent and well-reasoned essay that confirms what I've been feeling for some time." He's from South Carolina. "You're a good writer. You have been hibernating in my class, emerging only occasionally when the subject interests you. It's a new semester, almost spring. Join us." Sometimes it only takes one teacher to truly see you for your potential, and Dr. Herbert saw me. With his encouragement, I began writing one-act plays at Hunter. After seeing Rent on my 17th birthday, I began writing one-act musicals at Hunter. Anyway, it's May 2002. I call him and I say, "Dr. Herbert, do you think I could be a substitute teacher at Hunter? I'm graduating with a theater degree this spring, and it's kind of your fault." But here I have to hit the pause button on the TiVo in this speech. I have to rewind to 9 months earlier, to the beautiful, clear blue Tuesday morning of September 11th, 2001. I'm putting on a new musical at Wesleyan, and our performances are this week. I get up early. I want to buy the new Bob Dylan album at the local record store, drive down to the city to vote in the mayoral primary, and get back in time for rehearsal. I get as far as the record store when the planes hit the towers. And the next thing I know, we are all gathered around our televisions, watching the Twin Towers fall and Lower Manhattan become a mass grave. All phone circuits are busy, and there is no way of connecting with our families in the city for hours. One of our classmates loses his father in the attack. Another has a brother who worked in the towers but didn't go into work that morning, sparing his life. The world is forever changed in ways we are only beginning to understand that morning. Life itself feels very fragile. Putting on a musical feels absolutely meaningless. A month later, I make my way to downtown Manhattan for the first time since the attacks. There is a new Jonathan Larson musical playing off-Broadway. Not a new musical, actually. It's an autobiographical musical he wrote in his late 20s, before embarking on Rent. It's called Tick, Tick, Boom, and as I settle into my seat in the Jane Street Theater, my world changes again. If Sondheim wrote about opening doors, Larson wrote about those doors slamming in your face. About spending his 20s rejected by every theater and artistic director in New York. About turning 30 with nothing to show for it. I shift in my seat uncomfortably. Is this what I've signed up for with my degree in theater and knack for show tunes? A life of rejection. Larson writes movingly of his best friend Michael testing positive for HIV, which in 1990 is akin to a death sentence. The thought of losing his closest friend to this disease forces an internal reckoning. How are we supposed to spend our time when tomorrow's not promised? Jonathan musically retraces his lifelong friendship with Michael, which is intertwined with his love for writing, and he finds himself singing despite himself. Hey, what a way to spend the day. Hey, what a way to spend the day. I make a vow right here and now. I'm gonna spend my time this way. I watched this moment with tears in my eyes, 8 months younger than you are right now. Watch the brilliant Raul Esparza as Jonathan Larson doubling down on his calling and choosing life and connection in the face of rejection and death all around him. Jonathan Larson, whose work got me writing musicals in the first place, seemed to ask me in the text of this show, would you spend your time doing what you love even if you never see success in your lifetime? Even if all you face is rejection and tomorrow's not promised? And my answer in the Jane Street Theater that night, with Lower Manhattan still in ruins, was yes. God help me, yes. Okay, fast forward on the TiVo, back to my graduation day, May 2002. I have a job lined up at Hunter, teaching 7th grade English, but I also have 3 months of rent to pay before that job kicks in the fall. So I spend the summer working at a first-of-its-kind September 11th digital archive with a focus on Spanish language testimonials. My job is to interview Latino New Yorkers about that terrible day. It's less secure, bear witness, transcribe testimonials, tell our stories. I go on to teach 7th grade English at Hunter, then scale back after the first year to substitute teaching so I can spend more time writing. It's less secure than the part-time position, so I take other odd jobs. I move furniture. I dance and bar and bat mitzvahs. Humiliating work at $400 a pop. I sing backup for friends' concerts, often for free, on good days for $50. I don't have dental insurance, so I volunteer at a dental school downtown so I can get dental work at a discount. The root canals are the same, it just takes longer and you kind of have a few more students standing around your face. Jonathan Larson worked as a waiter at the Moondance Diner across from Duarte Square on Canal Street for 10 years. He worked the weekend shifts and Sunday brunches to pay rent so that his weekdays were free to write rent. In his spare time, he volunteered at Friends Indeed, a nonprofit organization to offer support for people with life-threatening illnesses amidst the growing AIDS crisis. Jonathan Larson would go on to change the world, but he would not live to see it. He died of a sudden aortic dissection the night before Rent's first public performance off Broadway, a complication from an undiagnosed condition known as Marfan syndrome. He was 35 years old, about 2 weeks shy of his 36th birthday. Fast forward the TiVo to May 2023, and here we are on your graduation day. The times and challenges that greet you are greater than those faced by Jonathan, or myself, or anyone in history. I cannot pretend to understand what college feels like in the middle of a global pandemic. I cannot pretend to understand how you begin to find your people when you're in a lockdown. I cannot imagine trying to learn the truth in an age of online misinformation, when it seems like our personally tailored algorithms cannot even agree on the same set of facts upon which to build a shared reality. How will you, the class of 2023, find, as Jonathan Larson wrote, connection in an isolating age? Here's what gives me hope. You're here. It's graduation day. You made space for what you wanted to do in the middle of the madness we call life in the United States in 2023, and you have made it to graduation day. And the people sitting next to you and the people sitting behind you are the only ones who truly understand what it was like. So what happens tomorrow and the day after that? Dear, brilliant, exhausted Hunter class of 2023, your story is just beginning. You're going to figure out how you want to spend your time, and if the world changes on a Tuesday, then you'll recalibrate and you'll figure it out again. You'll have to choose between walking through the park and waiting for the crosstown bus. Turn off the flash. Don't drain your battery unnecessarily. There is plenty of light up ahead. Borrow someone's Netflix password until you can afford your own. No more hibernating. It is a new semester, almost spring. Join us. Do what you have to do that allows the most space for what you want to do. What do you have to do? What do you want to do? Tomorrow is not promised. Make plans anyway. You are opening doors, shouting, "Here we are." You're filling up days on a dime. Keep choosing life and keep choosing connection. It will feel like you're running out of time, but in all likelihood, you've got plenty of time. It is among the great honors of my life that I get to spend this time with you on this most special of days. Congratulations to you, the Hunter class of 2023, and I wish you all the luck today, tomorrow, and all the precious days of your life. Thank you.